Good morning, beloveds. I may have tried something this morning with Facebook Live that I didn't intend to. Hazards of not having my glasses on, right? Or it's called FFS, Fat Fingered Syndrome. I may have touched something that I shouldn't have. And I upset Kieran this morning. Kieran's been gone for 3 years. Foster this morning, he came dashing in, and he went to get on the couch with me, and I moved, caught him on the head with my elbow, and then he scrabbled and the towel moved and he fell off. And so he's over here today because he's like, no, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. All right. Okay. Countdown. Second to the last one. I'm grateful that the last page is literally so I can do this, but we're going to get through this, hopefully without tearing it off. All right. It is March 30th. Our title is Change is Life. I don't think I put the title on there. Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. All right. The Change is Life. The first quote is, "Thou openest thy hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing." And that is Psalm 145:16. The second quote is, "If we keep our thought fixed upon the idea that this energy, which is also intelligence, is now taking the form of some desire in our life, then it will begin to take this form. If we change the desire, then it will change the form." That is Science of Mind, page 195. What does it take to change an appearance of stagnation? When a job situation, relationship, or any other situation feels silted, what can we do? We can stir things up. We can stop thinking about the stagnation and concentrate on possibility. A friend was frustrated with everything, her home, her job, her children, even her husband. But instead of sitting still and being unhappy, she decided to paint the living room. Just starting that one project changed everything. With each stroke of the roller, she became more excited about her home. When her family saw what was going on, they excitedly joined in and started helping and planning what they would do next. Her enthusiasm carried over into her employment, where changes in her attitude affected others. Soon, her job was more exciting as new opportunities opened to her. All that was necessary was one stir of her atmosphere to start change happening. There's a word there. The power within us responds to our heartfelt desire for change. It is eager to support our actions and to give to us abundantly. Stir your corner of life and watch it change. The almighty power of good is present everywhere. I set change in motion with new ideas and activities, knowing that divine wisdom is the director. Only good can come to me. With enthusiasm and expectancy, I seek positive, fulfilling change, and the universe responds to me with the fulfillment of my desire. M.M. Marilyn Mooney. One little change, and it changed everything. I saw a meme recently, and that's exactly what it said. It's like people are, when they're debating, going back in time, how one little change could just completely change the future, and then forgetting that we have the power to do that now. One little change, and we could literally change our lives. Literally change our lives. All she did was paint the living room. And yet, it set off this chain of events. And so, and I know it's a stereotype, but women will do that with their hair. It's like they need some change in their life, and so they'll go and they'll change their hair. And then it changes their attitude, and it changes the way they dress, and it changes the way they walk in the world, and it changes the way they move in the world. And then suddenly everything's different. One little change. So, if you are just stuck in a rut, then one little change. And it can be as simple as painting your living room. It doesn't have to be painting your living room, but as simple as that. And it can change your life. I will tell you that when you stir things up, you might stir up some stuff you have to deal with. And maybe it's stuff that it's time that you deal with it. When you make these changes. And then you look at your life and go, "Oh." And 6 months later, you're somewhere completely different. Or it doesn't have to be, maybe you don't need, great big change in your life, but one little change, it can lead to big things, and it can happen so gradually. And I think that's why that meme was so important, is because we think about if we go back in time and we change one little thing, and then we come back to a completely different future. Yet when we make one little change now, it takes time before we see that radical change that we're hoping for. And we're not always patient. I actually do say that. I say patience is a virtue. It is not one of mine. Patience is something that I struggle with. I learned the hard way never to pray for patience, because when you pray for patience, God gives you plenty of opportunities to be patient. I don't pray for patience anymore. But that is something that I say to myself. Patience is a virtue. It's not one of mine. When I am needing to be patient, it's a reminder to myself, you know what? A little patience is a good thing. So, maybe you make one small change and you don't see anything at first. Give it some time. Give it some time. I mean, I work at a health food store on a regular basis, and that's what I remind people. It's like, one pill's not going to fix it, but consistency will. So when you are treating, for something, there is some consistency that is necessary. If you want to make a change in your life, you are treating for that change, well, then you need to be consistent with whatever the change is that you're making. That's why we practice daily. We talk about daily spiritual practice. Consistency. Give it 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. So if you are making a change, and I will remind you, and I've said this before, when we talk about habits, it takes 21 days to make a new habit. So if you are actively working on making some changes, give yourself the grace of time. Give yourself the grace of time. So paint the living room, and maybe it doesn't change everything, but it does start the process. Give yourself 2 to 3 weeks and then see what happens and go from there. Okay. Now, it also doesn't mean that, just painting the living room, because that was just the start. That was just the start. When you make a change and it starts to suggest other changes, if you are looking for that radical change, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You can't put the paintbrush down and then say, that's it, I'm done. Doesn't work that way. All right, beloveds. One more reading. And I like that we're going to end on forming happier habits. That's the last reading in this book. And then we will move on to courage, conviction, and consciousness. We're going to move on to the 3 C's. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I'm not sure. Well, the last line of the reading is, so let's take this as the mission. Although I will remind you, there are things that we should not stir. Because there is and this is a language warning, those who stir that pot should have to lick the spoon. Okay? There are consequences to some pots that you stir. Be aware of that. So, the mission today, should you choose to accept it, is to stir your corner of life and watch it change. And watch it change. Just make one little change. Just make one little change. Now, obviously, if you are completely content with the way things are going, let it be. But if you need a little bit of a change or a whole lot of change in your life, stir your corner of life and watch it change. Watch it change. Pick something simple and easy that you can do and change it. That's why women change their hair. Fantastic. Go get a haircut. And do something different. Don't get the same old haircut. Don't get the same. We all apparently got haircuts in class, And it was really funny. And so everybody was showing their haircut. And I was like, so I showed off mine and everybody was like, well, I didn't know your hair did that. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a secret. All of that, that's all shaved all the way around. That is the secret to my hair. And that little change made a huge difference in the way my hair sits. So one little change, big difference in hair. Yeah. So, and it's also a whole lot cooler. So one little change. So you have your mission. I would also encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like, big, small, doesn't matter. Point is to practice on yourself. It is about creating a habit. It is about creating a first response. It is about creating that default setting so that no matter what happens, you respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. Now, when I say that, I'm going to remind you, love, kindness, and compassion is not doormat. If somebody is misbehaving, you can still respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately, and then you can walk away. You can love and kind and compassionate from over here. It's like, I'm not going to if you're going to have a temper tantrum, I'm going to have a loving, kind, and compassionate response, but I'm not going to do it where you can abuse me. Okay? I don't ever want you to think that love, kindness, and compassion is weakness. It is not. It is absolutely strength. It is self-care. It is absolutely about self-care. When you take care of yourself and you respond lovingly and kindly and compassionately to yourself and to other people, then we don't ratchet up the meanness in the world. That is what I'm talking about. When we have loving, kind, and compassionate responses, we are not adding to the mess. We're not adding to the mess. We are simply, and sometimes the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing we can do is turn around and walk away. All right. I talk about taking a deep breath before you speak. I talk about taking a walk. I talk about taking a nap. Well, sometimes that walk is to walk away from something or someone. Okay. Just a reminder, just an absolute reminder. It is love, kindness, and compassion. You are practicing on yourself. You are your own best test subject, but it is about walking away from stuff that is not love, kindness, or compassion for you. All right. If people do not know how to treat you, walk away. Okay? So I just want to remind you of that. Then because it is absolutely about self-care. The more loving, kind, and compassionate you are with yourself, that you can be with other people, then when people are having a bad day, you don't have to add to it. You don't have to participate in it at all. Okay? So I want to remind you of that. People get this idea that kind people are pushovers, and they're not. Some of the most kind people I know are the fiercest warriors. And they will not tolerate that. They will cut it off. And it's like, no. Remember that. No is a complete sentence. Okay. I do this reminder because as a woman, we are expected to put up with a lot of things that we don't have to. All right. Love and kindness and compassion does not mean we have to put up with bad behavior. The most loving, kind, and compassionate thing we can do for ourselves in those situations is take a deep breath and walk away. Okay. I also want to remind you, it's about making room for joy. So one of the other suggestions that I give you is to eat dessert first. And I do mean that. I do absolutely mean that. Eat dessert first. And then eat a healthy dinner afterwards. All right. Make room for joy. Your life is a special occasion. Please treat it as such. Don't save the good stuff. Do it now. Do it now. Have it now. All right. I'm going to then move on into practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. Then you have enough to share with others. It is about making a connection to the infinite source of love, kindness, and compassion daily. You want to make a change? There's one. Practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. Okay. All right. Deep breath. Moving forward. Going to remind you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like to you. To drink plenty of water. Hydration is important. Your brain works better when it is well hydrated. I'm going to encourage you to get early in your day bright light. We are in the it might rain today. So there was no sun. But artificial light counts. So especially if you get up before the sun, get some good strong light on your face, reset those hormones. That's what I'm talking about. It's called a circadian rhythm. If you can help support that natural hormone balance, that natural circadian rhythm, you will sleep better at night and you will have more energy during the day. It's just one of those things. I'm about self-care. Can you not see that? If you haven't figured that out by now, you haven't been paying attention. So, early in your day, bright light. Okay? Right? Literally. That's what you're aiming for. And I'm just discombobulated myself. There's a quote from Ernest Holmes. I say it every day. I mean it every day. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, because you live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. So while we are stirring up our life, that is what we are looking for. And what I'm going to remind you is, heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It is not a place. When you learn that it's a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness, it ceases to be a place, but can become any place. We talk about what's heaven for ourselves. What it is it's the state of mind when we're in that place or we're doing that thing. That's what I'm talking about. When you can create that mindset no matter where you are, that is the ultimate superpower. And we come pre-installed with it, okay? We talk about the Christ consciousness. That's just what we call it here in the West. The Christ consciousness, the password to activate the Christ consciousness is love. And that helps us create that heavenly state of mind, that heavenly state of consciousness. It's just really cool. And when you learn to do it for yourself, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can take it away from you. That's our goal, to help everybody learn how to create heaven for themselves. And we can always take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. Absolutely look for the good and praise it. That will, it's a great place to start. Gratitude will get you everywhere. Gratitude will get you everywhere. All right. I think I'm at the social media part where I'm going to remind you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So please feel free to check all that stuff out. We try and share good content, uplifting content, and funny content. I'm a big believer in laughter is one of the best medicines out there. So, go watch a funny movie. And laugh and laugh. It's a good way to get there into that heavenly state of mind. So, yeah, check that out. If you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. Those hot links are hot in the constant contact. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information, i.e. if you click on the soul sessions, it'll take you right to the playlist on the YouTube channel. Or it'll take you to the person that can help you get the information. So you've got options there. And the website has a new feature. The Sunday Talks have always been there, but now the Sunday Talks link you to the YouTube channel. So great stuff there. Right. I think I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a Thursday. A go dance in the rain day if it rains where you are. Enjoy the cooler weather because we're speeding through spring at this point. The almost last day of March. So if March goes out like a lamb, we're preparing for April showers and May flowers. I don't know. The flowers are already blooming here. So a take care of business day. A stir your corner of the life day. A watch your life change day. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in action. You are God in motion. You are a godling. Sometimes the biggest change we can make in our life is to know who we are and whose. All right? You are made by spirit, of spirit, for spirit. Remember that. All right. Okay. And, ooh, sleepy kitty faces. Yes, I love sleepy kitty faces. Immediately distracted, right? But the good news is, I'm at the part where I tell you, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at around 9 a.m. tomorrow. We will finish Beyond Appearances. That's 3 books. I've done 3 books. Wow. And I have a 4th. And then we will reevaluate at the end of March 2024. Wow. I thought I'd do this for a couple of weeks, not 3 years. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.